What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I'm D.Knight, and here's to the future.
Cause it's game time and I'm ready. Game time and I'm ready. Yeah, it's game time and I'm ready. Game time and I'm ready. Can't stop my hustle. No, you can't stop my shine. I ain't come to make no friends. I just came to get what's mine.
Welcome back to the Dolphins franchise rebuild as we enter season 3. Last year was a little bit disappointing. We started out 3-1 and then finished the season at 6-10. We were last in the AFC East, even though we had a 4-2 record in division games. Little bit interesting. But tell you the truth, the AFC East is still kind of up for grabs. Only one team has an 80 overall quarterback, and that's the defending champs, the Jets, who signed Phillip Rivers. Interesting move since they already have Sam Darnold, who is the 79, so maybe they're going all in for a possible Super Bowl run this year. I have no idea. However, our schedule is looking a little bit difficult this year as we play the NFC and the AFC South divisions. It's not going to be fun at all, but we do get revenge game possibilities with Josh Rosen and the Colts and Kenyon Drake and the Jaguars. It's going to be a very fun and interesting season for sure. But what we have in store for you guys today is we are going to meet the team, and then we are going to sim through the preseason. We're going to go over the preseason stats and any big cuts that we might do. I only have 63 players on the roster, so that means just one person is getting cut or traded. Everybody else is going to be going to the practice squad, so it should be exciting. But let's go meet the team. So we will start out with the dead last offense, the 32nd ranked offense. It's 71 overall currently, but we have new starters up and down this side of the football. At quarterback, we do have rookie Trevor Lawrence starting. Anthony Brown is currently the backup, with PJ Walker being third. So we are going to start here with the rookie Trevor Lawrence. We already gave him the captain patch. 6'6", 230 pound, 21-year-old out of Clemson. We traded up to get him to be the new face of the franchise. We need one since we haven't had one since Dan Marino. But last year he threw for 3,400 yards, 33 touchdowns, 6 picks, 172.0 rating, and had 2 championships in 3 years. This guy is a winner. Backing him up is rookie Anthony Brown, 6'2", 220, 23-year-old out of Boston College. He does have that interesting hidden development and actually did not have a terrible year last year for BC. Yeah, he threw for 2,200 yards, 17 touchdowns, 9 picks, 127.2 rating. This is somebody that we can possibly develop. We just got to get that overall a little bit better. And our third quarterback is PJ Walker, 5'11", 216 pound, 3-year guy out of Temple. He was on our practice squad last year. He is a different archetype, which is kind of exciting for a possible backup. But tell you the truth, I'm not sure if he's really going to be the answer. I'm not sure if he's practice squad eligible, so it's going to be a tough decision if he's going to stick around or not. At halfback, we are pretty deep but very, very young. Starting right now, we have Jartavius Whitlow. Backing him up is Anthony McFarland Jr., then Trey Ragas, and Patrick Taylor Jr. So currently starting, but is in no way cemented in the starting job, is rookie Jartavius Whitlow, the 6', 221 pound rookie out of Auburn. This guy dominated the college ranks. 1,500 yards, 11 touchdowns, 23 catches, 323 yards, 2 touchdowns. He was amazing, but there were some questions about him possibly being a feature back, which dropped him in the draft. So hopefully he's able to really kind of run away with the starting job. Backing him up and possibly grabbing that starting position is second-year pro Anthony McFarland Jr., 5'8", 193 out of Maryland. This guy performed when Kenyon Drake was out, and I was very, very impressed with his vision. He had 345 yards. He also added 34 catches, 223 yards. At very minimum, he's going to be our third down back because he's our best receiving back. but he might end up taking the starting job away from Whitlow. Slotted in as the third halfback is second-year pro Trey Ragas, who also is our power back, but he's 5'11", 227 pounds. This guy had a knack for getting into the end zone. He only had 150 yards last year, but he had 5 touchdowns in pretty much just that power back role. He actually looked very, very good. He could kind of challenge for a starting position as well. Fourth on the depth chart is second-year pro Patrick Taylor Jr. He was on the practice squad last year. He didn't necessarily impress me in preseason, but he has another opportunity to make the team this year with the subtractions that we did make in the running game. But he's mostly a power back, and to tell you the truth, he hasn't really shown me anything. It's time to step up. Fifth running back is third-year pro Myles Gaskin. Again, didn't really impress me with any of the playing time that he got. He only had 11 yards, 9 catches for 62. He had a 1.1 average. It just wasn't working. But he has an opportunity to make the team, so he's going to have to show up during preseason. And sixth on the depth chart is preseason hero Patrick Laird. He has a very good opportunity to make this team this year. If he runs anywhere like he ran last year in the preseason, kind of interested to see how his skill sets kind of contribute over to the pro level, but we'll have to see. At fullback, we have the 2-time Pro Bowl player Chandler Cox starting, with Durham Smythe and Trey Ragas being the backups. With him being the only fullback on the roster and 2-time Pro Bowl guy, Chandler Cox is our starting guy in the fullback position. He didn't have any stats last year, but to tell you the truth, this guy was blocking insanely well at the goal line, and I kind of enjoy the way that he plays. At wide receiver, we are young and talented, but still very inexperienced. We have Devante Parker as the number 1, Preston Williams number 2, Antonio Gandy-Golden 3, Adrian Hardy 4, Justin Jefferson 5, and Kirk Merritt at 6. So our big-time number 1 receiver, Devante Parker, 7-year pro, 6'3", 212-pounder. He's phenomenal, but I think that his stats kind of got left out in the way work because of the poor play by Rosen. This year, it's not going to happen, so he's going to have to put up. But he had 47 catches, 648 yards, 2 touchdowns. He did miss about 2 games. I mean, he got injured on like one of the first drives. But this guy could be somebody that continues to contribute, but he is starting to hit the regression bug. Starting outside of him is the 3-year pro Preston Williams. Yeah, just a 70 overall, but he's 6'4", 210 pounds, was making all the tough catches. He had 52 catches, 725 yards, 3 touchdowns. I'm impressed every time that he hits the field, but there's a couple guys that are creeping up on him, so he's really going to have to continue to develop. Number 3 is Antonio Gandy-Golden, or AGG for short, 6'4", 225-pound, 2-year pro. He was pretty good in any of the playing time that he did get, which wasn't much, but he had 5 catches, 66 yards, a touchdown. He's pretty much everything that we'd want him to be on the outside, so he's probably going to start pressing Preston Williams for that starting gig. At number 4 and playing majority of the slot snaps is going to be 2-year pro Adrian Hardy. 67 overall, but he's 6'2" with 89 speed. This guy can actually be fantastic. He has superstar depth, so he's going to have to learn how to be fantastic. But hopefully he's able to contribute in the slot and really take off in his progression. At the number 5 spot is 2-year pro Justin Jefferson, 69 overall, 6'2", 190-pound, 90 speed, deep threat. This guy actually was very, very good, but he was kind of having a little bit of issues catching the ball. He did have 6 catches for 41 yards, but he's probably going to double as our kick and punt returner now that Jakeem Grant is gone. So he'll probably make the team easily just with the special teams contributions. At the number 6 spot is 2-year pro Kirk Merritt, 6', 215-pound guy out of Arkansas State. He's a route runner archetype, so he's always able to get open. He didn't have any stats last year, didn't get any playing time. To tell you the truth, I think at 64 overall in Star Dev, he has a good opportunity to develop. And at the number 7 wide receiver spot is Damon Hazelton, 2-year pro out of Virginia Tech, 6'2". He's probably going to be our backup slot man, but tell you the truth, everything that I saw in the preseason was pretty good, so I'm kind of intrigued and see how he does this preseason. At tight end, we are pretty much set. We have Mike Gesicki, who continuously contributes, but Madden says you're not getting an up develop. Durham Smythe is the backup, and Octavious Cooley at number 3. So starting here with starter Mike Gesicki, the 4-year pro out of Penn State, 6'6". This guy goes up, gets the ball all the time. He actually led us in receiving yards with 885. He had 68 catches, 2 touchdowns. This guy is amazing. He deserves a development upgrade. Hopefully this year with Trevor Lawrence, he's going to be able to get it. Backing him up is the ever-consistent Durham Smythe, 6'6", 4-year pro out of Notre Dame. He had 29 catches, 279 yards. It just seems like he was making a catch every game. He was great, and then he ended up getting hurt, kind of stuck his development a little bit into the ground. At number 3 is 2-year pro Octavious Cooley, the 6'3" blocking tight end. But tell you the truth, I was very impressed with the way he was able to catch the ball. He had 23 catches, 160 yards, 3 touchdowns. That tied the team lead in touchdowns. Are you kidding me? And he did it as a third and a backup tight end. So hopefully good things are here for him in the future. And since we run a lot of 3 tight end sets that we actually do throw in as well, we have number 4 Trey McKitty, 64 overall, 6'5" rookie out of Florida State. Possession archetype, which fits our scheme. Last year he had 25 catches, 285 yards, 2 touchdowns for FSU. He looked very, very good, and I mean at 6'5", there's nothing to skulk back. At left tackle, we have rookie Penei Sewell with Germain Ifedi backing up and Isaiah Prince in the number 3 spot. Starter Penei Sewell, the rookie, the 6'6", 21-year-old out of Oregon. We picked him 7th overall. He's actually the only left tackle that we have on the roster. But tell you the truth, I think if you keep 1, maybe 2 tackles to back up, I think you are fine. But this guy was an absolute beast at Oregon. He only allowed 3 sacks in 14 games. Insane. At left guard, we do have the veteran captain Joe Thuney, Trey Smith backing him up with John Simpson in the 3rd spot. So starter at left guard, Joe Thuney, our captain, our best lineman overall, was 6'5", 305 pounds, 6-year pro out of NC State. Again, we grabbed him from the Patriots, so it was kind of a win-win situation. He allowed just 4 sacks all year long. And tell you the truth, with the amount of sacks that we gave up, that's pretty impressive. And backing him up is Trey Smith, the 6'6", 325-pounder out of Tennessee. He fits our scheme, fit and agile. He gave up 0 sacks. 0. Wow, that is just insane. We got him in the 2nd round. I feel like he's going to be a starter for us next year. In the 3rd spot is 2nd-year pro John Simpson, the 6'4", 320-pounder out of Clemson. He got the starts last year at right guard, did not perform, gave up 9 sacks. So now he's kind of relegated to a backup role. We'll see how he can kind of contribute. And the number 4 guard is 3-year pro Michael Deiter, the 6'6", 310-pounder out of Wisconsin. He didn't play last year after a very poor rookie year. I don't really see him being much else than a depth piece, and he might not even be able to make that. But we'll have to see how he is able to develop. Now at center, I finally feel comfortable with the guys that I have. I have Ben Jones starting, Josh Myers number 2, and Creed Humphrey number 3. So starter Ben Jones, the veteran, 6'3", 308-pound out of Georgia. Stole him away from Tennessee. He is getting up there a little bit in age, but he didn't allow a sack last year, which is huge because McGovern gave up like 14. So if he's able to come anywhere close to the 0 sacks he allowed, hey, you're welcome on this team, buddy. Backing him up is Josh Myers, a 6'5", 313-pound rookie out of Ohio State. Really targeted him in the draft, couldn't get him, but we did make a trade with Jacksonville that sent Kenyon Drake over to them. And tell you the truth, for having a center with hidden development and probably a piece to our offensive line for a good amount of years, it was well worth it. He gave up 5 sacks last year at Ohio State. And at the 3 spot is Creed Humphrey, the 6'5", 325-pound rookie out of Oklahoma. He gave up 9 sacks last year, but again, when they're dropping back every play, it's probably going to happen. But tell you the truth, he's actually better overall at guard and even better overall at tackle, so he might be a very good depth piece for our future. At right guard, we have veteran Kyle Long starting with Trey Smith and John Simpson backing up. So starter is veteran Kyle Long, 6'6", 320-pound, 9-year pro out of Oregon. Stole him away from the Bears, which is kind of okay, but again, we needed somebody to kind of hold down that spot. He's really the only right guard on our roster, but tell you the truth, if he can perform a lot better than John Simpson, it's going to be great. He did allow 5 sacks last year with the Bears. At right tackle, we have returning starter Darren Paulo with Germain Ifedi and Isaiah Prince backing up. Starter Darren Paulo, the 2-year, 6'5", 318-pounder out of Utah. To tell you the truth, I was a little disappointed in what he was doing, but that overall boost is going to continue to happen. He's star development. He gave up 14 sacks last year. That needs to get better or he gets replaced. Backing him up is 6-year pro Germain Ifedi, 6'5", 325-pounder out of Texas A&M. He didn't get any playing time last year, but he's a really good depth piece for us just in case an injury does happen. And backing them up is Isaiah Prince, the 3-year pro, 6'7", 310-pounder out of Ohio State. He didn't play last year. His overall still super low. He's going to really have to grind it out to make this team. Now it is time to take a look at the 3rd-ranked defense, which is currently 77 overall. At left end, we have veteran Emmanuel Ogbah, Morgan Fox backing him up, and Jonathan Ledbetter 3rd. So starting is Emmanuel Ogbah, the 6-year pro, 6'4", 275-pounder. He did end up getting an upgrade with his development. He is now a star. He led the league with 16.5 sacks, 62 tackles, 1 forced fumble, 18 TFLs. He was an absolute monster on the line. Backing him up is 6-year pro Morgan Fox, 6'3", 275-pound scheme fit. We got him away from the Rams in free agency. But tell you the truth, in limited time, he didn't do too bad. He had 2 TFLs, 7 tackles, and a forced fumble. He's a very good depth piece. At right end, starting, we have Chase Young with Morgan Fox backing him up and Ryan Glasgow in the 3rd spot. So starting is 2nd-year pro Chase Young, 6'5", 270-pound star. He pretty much excelled in everything that we asked him to do. He had 5 sacks, 11 TFLs, 44 tackles, a forced fumble in his rookie season. I like the way that he's heading. We'll have to see how much he progresses. Backing him up is 5-year pro Ryan Glasgow, 6'3", 302-pound guy. He's really a defensive tackle by trade, but we switched him over to right end. He had 6 TFLs, 19 tackles. We got him as a free agent from Cincinnati, so not too shabby. And another backup is 3-year pro Jonathan Ledbetter, 6'4", 280-pound scheme fit. Not sure exactly where he stands in our plans, but he could possibly be another good depth piece for us on the defensive line. At defensive tackle, we have great talent and wonderful depth. We have Christian Wilkins starting, Lorenzo Neal 2nd, Ray Lima 3rd, Bravion Roy 4th, and Vayan Moala 5th. So starting is 3-year pro Christian Wilkins, the 6'4", 315-pound monster out of Clemson. He did everything that we needed him to do. He had 6.5 sacks, 17 TFLs, 64 tackles, 2 forced fumbles. He was an absolute machine in the middle of that defensive line. Backing him up is second-year pro Lorenzo Neal, who surprisingly has superstar development. He's 6'3", 315 pounds, scheme fit. He's an absolute clog in the middle. He had 2.5 sacks, 8 TFLs, 35 tackles. He might be part of our future instead of Christian Wilkins. Third on the depth chart is 2-year pro Ray Lima, who has star development. 6'3", 305 pound monster, another scheme fit for us. He didn't have any stats, but tell you the truth, he is an absolute beast in the middle of that defensive line as well. Another backup is 2-year pro Bravion Roy, the 6'1", 330 pound star development. He is another monster in there, but he just has a little ways to kind of continue to develop to get some playing time. And a guy probably heading to the practice squad is defensive tackle Vian Moala, 57 overall, 6'7", 350 pound rookie out of Utah. I mean, he is an absolute load. But tell you the truth, he had a great year at Utah. He had 2.5 sacks, he had 11 TFLs and 42 tackles. Tell you the truth, he was getting triple teamed on that defensive line. So we'll have to see how he is. At left outside linebacker, we have some studs. We have Raekwon McMillan with Merlin Robertson backing him up, and Hamza Nasirildeen in the third spot. So starting is superstar Raekwon McMillan, 6'2", 243 pound, 5-year pro out of Ohio State. He was an absolute monster for us last year. 134 tackles, 1 sack, 27 TFLs, 2 picks, a career year for him even though he moved to outside linebacker. Backup is Hamza Nasirildeen, the 6'4", 226 pounder out of Florida State. Tell you the truth, he doesn't really fit our scheme fit, but we got him in the 4th round. He had 107 tackles, 14 TFLs, 4.5 sacks, and he's kind of one of those linebacker defensive back hybrids, which could be exciting. And also backing up is 3-year pro Andrew Van Ginkel, 6'4", 236 pounder. Tell you the truth, every time he was asked to play, he did well. He had 13 tackles, 1 TFL, very good special teams contributor. I kind of like having him around. At middle linebacker, we have Captain Jerome Baker, Lakia Henry, Nasirildeen, and Van Ginkel backing them up. Starter Jerome Baker, the 4-year pro, 6'2", 225 pounder out of Ohio State. Tell you the truth, he's exceeded all expectations. He moved up a development last year to star. He had 153 tackles, a sack, 22 TFLs, and a pick, and he's one of the mainstays in our defense. And starting next to him is rookie Lakia Henry, the 6'2", 235 pound monster out of Ole Miss. We grabbed him in the 3rd round. He had 116 tackles, 11 TFLs, and a pick. And tell you the truth, this guy has a high motor, so I'm kind of excited to see what he does. At right outside linebacker, we have rookie Merlin Robertson, Bryce Sturt backing him up, and Nasirildeen in the 3rd spot. So starting is Merlin Robertson, the 6'3", 251 pound rookie out of Arizona State. I was very high on this guy, but with our linebacker situation, I never thought I was going to take him, but I ended up taking him in the 2nd round. He had 102 tackles, 9 TFLs, 1.5 sacks. He's so fast, he's so good. He's going to be really exciting on the field. And backing him up is the only true right outside linebacker, who is Bryce Sturt, the 6'4", 250 pound, 2-year guy out of Montana State. He has star development. We just want to get his overall just a little bit better. He did have 5 tackles in special teams, so he can be a very good special teams contributor currently. And at our deepest position, cornerback, we have Xavien Howard, Mike Hilton, Avery Young, Teez Tabor, and Jaquan Amos. The number 1 cornerback, Xavien Howard, the superstar, the 6'1", 192 pound, 6-year pro out of Baylor. Tell you the truth, he kind of had a down year. He had 1 pick, 71 tackles, 6 TFLs, 7 pass defense. But tell you the truth, he only allowed 9 catches all year. That is insane. Continue that contribution and I'll be happy. Starting on the other side is 6-year pro Mike Hilton, 5'9", 184-pounder out of Ole Miss. He had a lot more opportunities because of Xavien Howard shutting down their top receiver. He had 4 picks, 75 tackles, 7 TFLs, 7 pass defense, and 1 forced fumble. Backing them up and possibly being the slot corner is rookie Avery Young, the 6-foot, 198-pound guy out of Rutgers. To tell you the truth, he did great at Rutgers. We picked him with a 3rd round pick, 4 picks, 62 tackles, 1 TFL, 10 pass defense. Kind of excited to see where he goes in his future. And the guy I wanted to bring back because of every time he was on the field he was making a play is 5-year pro Teez Tabor, 6 foot, 201-pound out of Florida. To tell you the truth, again, every time he was on the field he was making a play. It was insane. He had 1 pick, 11 tackles, 3 TFLs, 1 pass defense. He was everywhere. He even blocked a kick. In the 5th spot is rookie Jaquan Amos, 5'10", 185-pounder out of Villanova. He had a very good season in, kind of weaker competition, but he had 5 picks, 73 tackles, 3 TFLs, a sack, 5 pass defense. To tell you the truth, he has a very bright future, and I'm glad he's on this team as a 7th round pick. Another developmental cornerback is 2-year pro Jalen Thompson, 6 foot, 185-pounder out of South Alabama. Hopefully he's able to kind of continue to progress. He had 10 tackles on special teams last year. And tell you the truth, he did pretty well in coverage when it was called upon. At free safety, we have captain and superstar Minkah Fitzpatrick with Bobby McCain backing him up. He's a captain for special teams. And then Eric Rowe in the 3rd spot. So starter Minkah Fitzpatrick, the 6'1", 201-pound 4-year pro out of Alabama. This guy is excellent. He has high motor. He's everywhere he needs to be. He had 1 pick, 101 tackles, 5 TFLs, 2.5 sacks, 12 pass defense. He is an absolute leader. Backing him up is 7-year pro Bobby McCain, 5'11", 192-pound out of Memphis. He got his chance to start at strong safety, and tell you the truth, I think we took a step back when that happened. He did have a sack, 87 tackles, 7 TFLs, and 6 pass defense. At strong safety, we have rookie Xavier McKinney starting, Eric Rowe, number 2, and Cameron Curl, number 3. Starter Xavier McKinney, the 6'1", 207-pound rookie out of Alabama. We got him in the 2nd round. He was the guy I really was kind of going after in that 2nd round. He had 76 tackles, 3 TFLs, 4 picks, 8 pass defense. He could possibly be a very important piece to our future. Backing him up and making a position change is Eric Rowe. Again, he was a cornerback last year, 6'1", 205-pound out of Utah. To tell you the truth, he didn't really do all that great in the cornerback role, so I'm giving him an opportunity here as strong safety. He had 1 pick, 56 tackles, 4 TFLs, 4 pass defense. We'll have to see if he's a good depth piece. And at the 3rd spot is rookie Cameron Curl, 6'2", 206-pound out of Arkansas. He has a lot to go in our scheme fit, but we got him in the 5th round. He had 61 tackles, 3 TFLs, a pick, a sack, 5 pass defense last year in Arkansas. He could be somebody that could be a very good depth piece for Xavier McKinney or be an injury backup. At kicker, we have a little bit of a possession battle. We have Jason Sanders and Jet Toner. Jason Sanders, the 4-year pro out of New Mexico. Tell you the truth, I was not exceptionally happy with the way that he was kicking the ball. He was 22 of 35, which is a 62% clip. He had 2 misses inside 50. All the other ones were outside of 50. But maybe that's because our offense just couldn't get the yards needed for him to be successful. But challenging him is rookie Jet Toner out of Stanford. This guy was phenomenal last year. He hit 22 of 23, which is 95%, and hit a 57 long field goal. His only missed kick was a block. I'm kind of excited to see what he does in the preseason. We'll have to see if he overtakes Jason Sanders. At punter, once again, is 5-year pro Matt Hawk. Star development, tell you the truth, he's just as steady as can be. 49 average, 41.7 net. He had 16 inside of the 20. Kind of want to see that net average go up just a little bit. Now that we met the team, let's get through the preseason. I will show you guys the stats and any big cuts that I might have made. And we end up finishing the preseason at 2-2. Our offense was a little inconsistent. Our defense was a little bit inconsistent. But again, I was playing a lot more backups than, the CPU was doing because of just Madden's formula. But let's take a look at the player stats. Passing Anthony Brown did not do too bad. 3 touchdowns, 3 picks, 86.8 rating. But I don't think he's quite ready to be a backup yet. Trevor Lawrence, 1 touchdown, 2 picks, 75%. He didn't look awful. He actually has a pretty good rating there, 89.7. PJ Walker, even though he has a 92.4 rating, did not look great at all. The rushing attack was actually led by Patrick Laird once again, 5.4 average, a touchdown. This guy has looked great the last 2 preseasons. He's probably going to make the team. McFarland is actually going to take over the starting job. He had a 4.0 average, 113 yards. PJ Walker, Taylor had 2 touchdowns. Whitlow had a 3.9, but he was really struggling against starters. Jefferson had a couple of carries, and Myles Gaskin finished with 1 for 6. And for the receivers, Devante Parker, again, being the guy that we always knew he was. 15 catches, 204 yards, and a score. Jefferson really surprised me again this preseason, 167 yards, a touchdown. Hazleton was the biggest surprise of preseason. Came in, was getting open, getting catches, scored a touchdown. Smythe, Hardy did really well in the slot role, 12 catches for 100. Cooley, McFarland there, Ragas. Ragas was actually catching great out of the backfield, so he might actually have an expanded role. Gesicki had a score, Williams had 4, Laird doing his thing, McKitty had a couple of catches, Whitlow had a couple of catches. And then for defense, TFL leader was Morgan Fox. Lakia Henry, Baker, and Amos with Glasgow all had 3. Sacks-wise, Bryce Stirk actually had a 4-sack game and then added another sack and a half. He looked really, really sharp. Lima, Volt, and Moyola had 1.5. Fox, Van Ginkel, Wilkins, Tabor, and Howard, and Bravion Roy all had 1. And then there's a couple of half sacks there. Our leading interception guy was actually Jalen Thompson, which he got burned a few times, but then made really good plays sometimes. But Tabor, Howard, Baker, and Young all added 1 as well. And then kicking-wise, Jet Toner, I do believe, has won the kicking competition. He hit 5 of 6 with a long of 45. His only miss was a 60-yard field goal, and he missed it just by a little bit. It probably would have been good from 57, 58. So his power was kind of where I was questioning things. Sanders ended up missing a 51-yard field goal, so I just don't think he's going to be our kicker anymore. And punting, Matt Hawk is Matt Hawk, 59.9 average, net average of 49.7 for inside the 20. Might be the best punter in the NFL. With Anthony Brown not quite being ready and PJ Walker struggling, we are going to dip into the free agency pool to grab a backup quarterback. We're going to go after Tyree Jackson, the 6'7" absolute monster out of Buffalo. And he also played for the Bills. He was on the practice squad for a little bit, but he's the best available. His field general skill isn't that great, but tell you the truth, he has insane throw power and insane speed for a quarterback. He could be very dangerous if anything happens to Trevor Lawrence. So now it's the toughest time of the year, and that is to cut 12 players, or aka move to the practice squad. Anthony Brown is going to go to the practice squad, and we are actually going to be cutting PJ Walker, and that's going to leave Trevor Lawrence and Tyree Jackson at the top. We are also going to be moving Myles Gaskin to the practice squad and Patrick Taylor Jr., and that's going to be our running backs for the year. Wide receiver, I believe Hazleton has ended up making the team. So we're actually going to put down Kirk Merritt, who's 64 overall. I don't think he's going to get picked up, but if he does, we have plenty of star developed younger guys that just aren't really doing what they need to be doing. With guard position being pretty deep, we are going to put Michael Deiter to the practice squad. He might get picked up because his overall is pretty high, and it kind of seems like they take 65 and over linemen, but we're going to move him to the practice squad. If we lose him, we lose him. It is what it is. Our tackle position is actually pretty deep, as Creed Humphrey is actually a pretty good tackle as well. So we are going to cut Isaiah Prince and just pretty much bid adieu to his 60 overall lineman. Putting Ryan Glasgow at the right end position didn't really pan out for us too well, and we're just too deep in defensive tackles, so we're actually going to end up cutting him here. And then we are also going to move Vian Moala, who actually did very well. I don't think he's going to be picked up since he's a 57 overall, and we're actually going to move Bravion Roy as well to the practice squad. This one's a little bit tougher because, I mean, as a strong safety, he's pretty high overall, but we're going to move Cameron Curl to the practice squad. If he gets picked up, we just have to look at strong safety again. And then the last move we are going to do is cut Jason Sanders. Jet Toner, this is all you, buddy. And now for the preseason upgrades here, starting with cornerback Teez Tabor. We are going to go into slot, gets him up to a 72 overall. His coverages need a little bit of work. He got +1 man. Wide receiver Antonio Gandy-Golden gets one as well, and we are going to go into physical. Gets him up to a 69. I really kind of start needing him to produce a little bit more. And then we got defensive end Jonathan Ledbetter. Again, young guy. See if we can get him up to 67. We do. Sticks as a scheme fit. He needed a lot of work in the finesse moves department. And now we have our mandatory upgrade for Bryce Sterk. Once every episode, this guy is phenomenal. We're actually going to upgrade his pass coverage. Does not move up in overall, but that's where he's really lacking. Plus zone is great. And our preseason leader in interceptions, Jalen Thompson. Yes, he did change his number over to 32. He is going to get a slot upgrade. Hopefully makes him scheme fit. It does not. 64 overall, +3 tackle, +1 man coverage. And that's where we're going to end up wrapping up this episode. When we come back, we will watch our opening day / week 1 matchup against Cam Newton and the Carolina Panthers. And then we'll also get through week 2, week 3, and get through week 4 and see if we can become a contending team. Thanks again for watching, and as always, stay frosty, and I'll see you in the next episode. D.Knight out.
They thought it was a game till I came back with that win overtime. I've been